problems. That guy, he just has to touch you once.
Shit's going down.
He's so different than anybody else in the division. Like, he knocks everybody out. Everybody hits hard. They all hit hard.
But that
fucking
down.
dude hits hard.
Jake Paul can come 15-20% in regards to Anthony Joshua. He's a completely different specimen. Look, you'll see what it looks like when they stand next to each other.
Joe Rogan just shared his thoughts on Anthony Joshua's insane new training camp ahead of the possible showdown with Jake Paul, and his reaction speaks volumes. After seeing recently leaked sparring clips where Joshua is ripping off lightning-fast combos and training alongside elite-level coaches, Rogan described the two-time heavyweight king as absolutely terrifying right now. He straight up warned that Jake might have finally bitten off way more than he can handle this time, with AJ looking sharper, quicker, and downright nastier than he has in years. Rogan says if Paul actually signs a contract and gets in there, this one could be over in brutal and frightening fashion.
Need to get stronger.
The rumored Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua clash is being set up as a legitimate pro heavyweight contest, governed by standard Marquis of Queensberry rules. It's scheduled for 8 3-minute rounds, with both guys wearing the usual 10-ounce gloves. The big catch: AJ has to come in at 245 pounds or under. No exceptions, which levels the playing field a bit. Whatever happens will go straight onto their official pro records. This isn't an exhibition. It's the real thing.
Professional bout. This is going on people's records. AJ gotta take him serious, because this isn't some exhibition. We're running out some judges to act like there's a decision and someone won. No, someone's gonna win, someone's gonna lose here. It's 8 rounds, 3-minute rounds. Again, heavyweight pro bout, 10-ounce gloves. AJ talking about breaking internets over faces. I think he meant to say breaking his face on the internet. Who knows? Maybe you can do both in the big 2025. But then you have the weight limit, 245 pounds. And people are automatically going to go, oh, God, here's the thing. Oh, here's the thing in the contract. No, stop all that. And I'm going to go on a rant in a second for all the people that thought this was fake, for all the people that thought that Jake wouldn't do this, for all the people that thought he was scared. I'm going to go on that rant in a second. But, okay, yes, 245 is a weird number because Jake has already fought at heavyweight. He fought Mike Tyson at 220-something. But again, I understand it a little bit. We're on short notice here. A Tyson Fury type situation, which AJ would never be 290 coming in here. But 260, 270, it starts to get out of the realm of possibility of, like, what are we doing here? Even though heavyweight has no limit, I get it.
Now, Kissa Badarian, the head of Most Valuable Promotions MVP, and a major backer for Jake Paul, shared with Sky Sports that the December 19 showdown against Anthony Joshua is shaping up to be a blockbuster on the world stage. He pointed out that even though Joshua brings way more ring time and know-how, Paul's over-the-top self-belief might just turn out to be the wild card that shakes things up. Badarian painted this as a bigger-than-life rivalry, noting how their camp hustled to lock it in, crunching timelines and deal talks into a super-tight window. He also verified the tough weight caps and pro-level setup to guarantee it a no-nonsense, high-pressure battle. Badarian went on to tell Sky Sports that this Paul Joshua scrap feels way more balanced than Joshua's last one against Francis Ngannou. Sure, Ngannou was a beast in size, but he was light on real boxing chops, which tilted that one heavily. On the flip side, Badarian sees Paul as someone who's leveled up quick in the game, stacking real technique and fight smarts that could keep things tight against AJ.
The weight, will there be a limit for Joshua?
So there's a lot of discussion around the weight. Joshua fought Usyk twice. Both of those times, Usyk was 221 pounds. Joshua was 240 to 245. When Jake fought Mike Tyson last year, 227 pounds. I expect Jake will come in anywhere between 225 and 230, and Anthony Joshua has a weight limit of 245 pounds.
There will be those, as you're aware, that will look at it and criticise this fight. There already have been, haven't there? They'll say it's a real mismatch. What would you say to them? Are we going to be watching sport at its purest?
I would say it's much less of a mismatch than what you saw with AJ and Francis Ngannou, who a massive man, but relatively no boxing experience. I would say it's much less of a mismatch than AJ's 9th or 10th fight against guys who've been knocked out 20 to 25 times. Given AJ's pedigree, Jake is built for this. Jake is built for the big moments. So do I think it's dangerous for Jake Paul? Absolutely. Do I think it's also dangerous for Anthony Joshua? 100%.
Plenty of respected boxing insiders believe Jake Paul is putting himself in real danger by agreeing to face Anthony Joshua. Ex-cruiserweight world champ Lawrence Oakley has gone on record saying AJ's combination of size and knockout power turns this fight into a genuine health risk for Paul. Similarly, two-time world champion David Benavidez didn't hold back, stating flat out that Paul is stepping straight into a nightmare because of Joshua's years of experience against the very best heavyweights in the game.
I give 100% respect to Jake Paul, but that's a dangerous fight for him. He probably gets knocked out, and I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm not saying nothing bad, but Anthony Joshua is Anthony Joshua. You know, he's multiple-time champion, Olympic gold medalist. You know what I mean? The last time somebody stepped in the ring with him that didn't have that much boxing experience was Ngannou, and you've seen what happened to him. But big respects to Jake Paul. It's gonna be a good card. You know what I mean? It's a big fight. And it's a good fight, man. I give 100% respect to Jake Paul for even taking that fight.
The Ring 4, November 22nd. Watch only on DAZN.
Carl Froch has slammed Anthony Joshua for agreeing to fight Jake Paul, basically accusing AJ of taking the money and running. Froch says that after stacking millions and holding multiple world titles, Joshua's priorities have clearly shifted. He's chasing the biggest paycheck rather than building his legacy anymore, with his bank account already set for life. Froch argues there's almost nothing left for Joshua to prove against legitimate contenders, so he's just picking the softest, highest-paying option on the table with this crossover bout.
What else have we got to consider? Is AJ cashing out? Well, I did say a year ago when he got splattered by Daniel Dubois that he's finished now. He won't get that confidence back. He's not had any confidence, in his head. No belief for a long time. And I don't think he can get back to world levels. There's a couple of new young guns now coming up and coming through. It's like a changing of the guard. And when Usyk retires, I don't know what Daniel Dubois is going to do next, but I don't know what Daniel Dubois did to him. Then he went on and lost to Usyk. But there's a few new heavyweights coming through. Moses Atalma, just to mention one. And you wouldn't start putting AJ in with any of these young up-and-comers that can punch hard, because I just don't think he's got the chance, because the ambition and the desire is going to be gone. So AJ most definitely is cashing out, and you can't fault him. Fair play to him. He's going to get a massive payday, maximise his exit route by fighting fake Paul.
A chunk of the boxing community is convinced Jake Paul has a real shot at upsetting Anthony Joshua, and they're putting their money behind his one-punch power. Even though a lot of people still call him a YouTuber or playing boxer, Jake has proven he carries legitimate heat in his hands. He's dropped and starched several guys with heavy shots. Tyson Fury himself just said Paul is big enough and hits hard enough now at heavyweight to potentially sleep AJ. Paul keeps hammering the same point. Joshua's chin has looked shaky in recent years, and one perfectly placed bomb could shut the lights out fast.
Do you think he can win, Jake Paul?
I think it's a possibility. No one is backing Jake Paul currently. You've seen him in the ring. You can see that he's got some knockout power. And I also believe people don't look at Joshua's last few fights. And I don't think it's going to be as big of a landslide as people feel. I feel like there's an overhand right that could easily land, and I wouldn't predict that Joshua's chin can last that. The problem is that all of the pressure's on Joshua at the moment. So Jake Paul, if he gets knocked out in 12 seconds, he should get knocked out. The problem is, as soon as Joshua starts taking damage, all of a sudden he's thinking, the world is watching me, I'm a professional fighter, and I'm getting beat off a YouTuber. All of the pressure is in Joshua, and that's a lot that can weigh on a man. You can't deny that Jake Paul has power. I think it's one of his only attributes. I think he's a very poor boxer, but what he does have is a weird technique where you don't know what
he's got power. How do we know he's got power?
He's knocked people out. Joshua has all of the world looking at him thinking you should walk him over. If it gets 2 rounds, 3 rounds inside, I think Joshua loses.
A lot of people are framing this as a classic David versus Goliath showdown. On one side, you've got Jake Paul, the social media superstar who's climbed the ranks mostly at lower weights, now daring to face Anthony Joshua, an absolute giant of the heavyweight division with world titles, elite experience, and a clear physical edge. AJ is a towering Goliath in this story, while Paul plays a scrappy David. banking on pure hunger, confidence, and sheer willpower to try and pull off the impossible.
I can't judge Anthony Joshua for getting the bag, as the kids say, for going to wherever the fight's going to take place and taking $92 million for going up against Jake Paul, right? You can't give him for that. You can't judge him for that. But don't try and tell me that this is a real professional boxing contest. I'm saying my guess is that this will be an exhibition matchup. And if it is, it'll be one hell of a show. And I'll certainly tune in. And fair play to both men because they're making an absolute goddamn killing. But what is going on? Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. It's a lose-lose for Joshua. It's a win-win for Jake Paul.
A big worry circling the boxing world about Joshua accepting the Jake Paul fight is how little ring time AJ has actually had lately. In the last 2 years, he's only stepped into the ring twice. Following that close split decision defeat to Alexander Usyk back in 2022, his schedule turned pretty quiet. He stopped Robert Helenius in August 2023, then Otto Wall in that December, and most recently flattened Francis Ngannou in March 2024. That's just 3 fights in over 2.5 years, raising questions about ring rust against a younger, busier opponent.
The problem for Anthony Joshua is his activity. He's only fought twice in 2 years, and one of them he got knocked out off Daniel Dubois. That was his last fight, and a lot of people say you can only judge a fighter's quality from their last fight. And then the fight before that was a win, but it was a win against Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou, if you know, he was the UFC heavyweight who's not a real boxer, and he only had 1 fight before that boxing fight, what he lost as well. So that's his activity in boxing. Now Jake Paul, on the other hand, looking at his box rec, he's had 6 fights since 2023, and one of them was against Mike Tyson. But we all seen what happened in that fight. Mike Tyson was well past his prime. Where Anthony Joshua, on the other hand, is, well, I'm not going to say he's coming into his prime because he had some great wins earlier on in his career before he lost to Usyk twice. And by the way, when he did lose to Usyk, the last one was a split decision. It was a pretty close fight. So now this fight is matched, and I just want to look at the tail of the tape. Now, looking at the age difference, we've got 28 years old compared to 36 years old. So I guess the advantage there goes a little bit towards Jake Paul. 28-year-old is better than a 36-year-old. But that being said, we've got talking about experience and everything else, what comes with being 36 years old at Anthony Joshua's level. And then, like I mentioned, the heavyweights kind of seem to prime a little bit older. They'll come down to the height and the weight. This is the big one. 6'1" versus 6'6". 200 pound versus 252 pound. We got a 252 pounder in Anthony Joshua. The reach advantage is a lot, which we would expect. Amateur fights, we can see that Jake's only had 1, where AJ's had 43, but 43 of them are included at the highest level, Olympic level. And yes, he won the Olympic bloody gold medal, if I don't need to remind you. Then the pro record, Jake Paul has had 13 fights, lost 1. AJ has had 28 fights and he's lost 4 with 25 KOs.
David Haye has sounded a chilling alarm about the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul clash, branding it a straight-up mismatch that could turn ugly. In an interview with Sky News, the ex-heavyweight champ warned that Joshua is fully capable of doing catastrophic damage to Paul and said he genuinely worries for the YouTuber's safety inside that ring. Haye even hinted this could be the last night of Jake Paul's life if he misjudges what he's walking into against AJ's combination of size, experience, and devastating power. The physical difference between the two is stark. Joshua is 6'6" with an 82-inch reach and usually walks around 240 to 250 pounds, capped at 245 for this one. Paul, meanwhile, stands roughly 6'1" with a 76-inch reach and has only recently stepped up to heavyweight, coming in around 227 pounds in his last couple of big man fights. That gap in height, reach, and natural bulk could hand Joshua a crushing advantage in every exchange.
Is a big money fight, £100 million potentially. Are you confident it'll happen?
I wasn't confident when I first heard about it. It sounds like one of those fairy tale fights that people talk about but don't actually get over the line. I heard this 3-4 months ago. I just dismissed it. I heard it a week ago. I went along with it, but deep down I thought this isn't going to happen. And today it's been made official. Jake Paul is going to get in a ring in a boxing match, boxing gloves, to mix it with one of the most dangerous heavyweights on the planet. Someone who is Olympic gold medalist, won the heavyweight championship twice. Although he lost his last fight against a very good Daniel Dubois, he's a top 10 heavyweight on the planet versus internet sensation, someone who's a latecomer to boxing and has boxed at a very moderate level. I'm talking domestic level, and he lost to Tommy Fury, for instance. And Tommy Fury, who he lost to, versus Anthony Joshua, they're two completely different sports. So I commend Jake Paul for putting himself in harm's way, because boxing is a dangerous game. People have died in the ring. People have been seriously injured, maimed. And he believes in himself enough to do it on a massive scale, because it's not about the money. He's got enough money. This is him wanting to push the boundaries of reality. He's manifested an amazing life for himself. He's a superstar, and I think he wants to try and do the unthinkable. He wants to. It's an insane challenge he's put himself up for, but you've got to give him credit.
You say an insane challenge. You've described it before as Jake Paul being a cat versus Anthony Joshua's lion.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not equally matched on any sense, are they?
There's not one element of their boxing skill set that Jake Paul can come 15-20% in regards to Anthony Joshua. He's a completely different specimen. Look, you'll see what it looks like when they stand next to each other.
Anthony Joshua is rolling the dice big time by signing to face Jake Paul, and a lot of insiders think the real danger isn't just getting hit. It's what a bad night could do to his entire legacy. Ex-heavyweight contender Dave Allen put it bluntly. If Jake Paul so much as touches Joshua's chin, it could stain everything AJ has built over the years. Plenty of voices in the sport are calling this nothing more than a money grab. Even Eddie Hearn shrugged off the criticism with the line, "You can't eat legacy." The fear is growing that Joshua might trade a hard-earned, respected name in boxing for one giant paycheck. And if it backfires, he'll be remembered more as a guy who cashed out than as a two-time unified heavyweight king.
A lot of boxing fans will think this is a massive stain on his career and a bit of an embarrassment. Now, you two have done it. I'm sure you would both fight Jake Paul tomorrow, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but we're both retired, and we'll be looking at it saying, still an easy fight because he can't box, he's useless. So it's risk reward, minimum risk, massive reward. So of course we'd fight Jake.
No, but you say that, it's a big risk, Carl. Big risk.
I'm not having that.
Big risk. If you don't go and annihilate him in the first 30 seconds,
yeah, it's fixed.
Can you right? It's fixed. Oh, he's pulling him round.
Yeah.
He's talking about me fighting him though. So would you think that was fixed if I didn't go and annihilate him? 11 years retired. I think that's the point George makes. He always has a little dig and says,
no, but say you go out there and it's a tough fight for you. You can say, well, what would you expect? I haven't boxed for 11 years. But then it's like, it's hard, isn't it? It's hard. Do you want that?
Nobody thinks any less.
You've got the best ending.
Yeah, I've got
to your career.
Definitely.
So,
nobody thinks any less of Mike Tyson because he lost to Jake Paul.
He was 58 years old.
Yeah, exactly. So
he's an hospital a week before.
Snap been retired 11 years, and I'd still go in there, in my opinion, and whoop him. Yeah. I don't think it'd be hard at all. Mm-hmm. So listen, he won't fight me. He's pretending he don't know who I am now, for a start. So he's thought.
How can he not know who you are?
Froch means business. How can he not know?
On the flip side, a growing number of boxing insiders and fans are starting to feel that Anthony Joshua might actually be stepping into the prime version of himself right now. Yes, he's had setbacks, most notably those two defeats to Alexander Usyk, but AJ has bounced back with real fire every time. Lately, people close to the camp and those watching his training say there's a completely different energy around him. Calmer, sharper, hungrier, and flat-out meaner than he's looked in years. A lot of respected voices are saying this could be the most dangerous Joshua we've ever seen.
Got what it takes. But then sports is so psychological. Combat is so psychological. And I think the ups and downs of AJ's career have come because of the ups and downs of the psychology, you know? When AJ's on mentally, he's a different guy, man. I mean, I can remember early in his career just being this destroyer and just having this utter mean streak in there, and it would just come out of him when he would fight. You could just see it. He had that it factor, and he was so popular. I mean, and then I remember being at the Ruiz fight at the Garden, and he gets hit with like this grazing shot, never recovers, and he's gone. And this is after I watched him knock out Klitschko at Wembley, getting up off the canvas in front of a crazy crowd. So I'm like, I'm leaving the Garden, and I'm like, what happened to this guy? What you know?
Ultimately, Anthony Joshua's choice to fight Jake Paul is a straight-up high-risk, high-reward roll of the dice on every level: money, health, and legacy. The payday is going to be obscene. No question he's earned the right to cash that check after a decade at the top. Yet a ton of people in boxing are terrified that one bad night could flip the script on his whole career, turning a proud comeback story into what critics will forever call a sideshow money grab. For a former unified champion at this stage, stepping in with a younger, controversial crossover star who has everything to gain and nothing to lose is the opposite of a safe bet. Win big, and it's just, he did what he was supposed to do. Lose or even get rocked. And the narrative instantly becomes Joshua sold his legacy for a bag. It's the ultimate gamble. Massive reward on one side, permanent reputation damage on the other.
A lot of people have said, well, if he doesn't knock him out the way in which he knocked out Francis Ngannou, he's a sham, this is a sham, this is all rigged. A lot of people said if Jake wins, this is a sham, this is rigged. A lot of people said if he goes the distance with Jake, this is a sham, this is all rigged. Some people are saying even before it was finalized, Gareth on our show, although he folded quite quickly when he was face-to-face with Eddie at the open workouts. I saw that on IFL TV, I do believe, saying that his legacy is already in question as a result of taking this fight. Now, I'm surprised that people like Gareth say this. Look, this may not be your cup of tea. You can say, I want to see Anthony Joshua fight other heavyweights. I want to see him fight the likes of, I don't know, Joseph Parker. I want to see him fight Marvin Bakoli. I want to see him fight Caballel. I want to see him fight Zhilei Zhang. I want to see him fight Hrgovic.
Is Joshua playing it smart by taking a huge payday? Or is he putting his entire legacy on the line? Drop your honest opinion in the comments right now. Like plus subscribe if you want more updates on this fight.